After 23 years of marriage, my wife betrayed me, and now, after her lover cast her aside, she wants to return. I am a man of 50 years, married for over 2 decades to a woman I once believed was my partner for life. Amy, my wife, is 48. We built a family together, raising 3 children: Rachel, our eldest at 22, Jake at 19, and our youngest, Ava, who will soon be 18. A week ago, Amy sat me down in our home, the same home we built together, and confessed that she had been having an affair. Not a brief mistake, not a moment of weakness, but a full-fledged relationship with Matt, a co-worker of hers. A man 27 years old, nearly half my age. She had been involved with him for 2 years, and now, she told me, she was ready to move forward with him. She believed the time was right to tell me. Our children were grown, nearly independent. She thought she could leave without causing too much damage. Hearing those words shattered me. It was as if the foundation of my life cracked and crumbled beneath me. I am grateful none of our children were there to witness what happened next. I broke down. I sobbed like I had not since I was a child, my entire body shaking with grief. The woman I had given everything to, the woman I had trusted beyond all reason, had been lying to me for 2 years. Rachel had already moved out after finishing college. Jake was away, busy with his studies. Ava was at a friend's house. That was no coincidence. Amy had waited for a moment when the house would be empty to drop this bomb on me. She sat there as I fell apart, murmuring empty reassurances, patting my arm as if I were some lost, pathetic thing. "It will get better," she said. "You will find someone." She spoke as if I were grieving something natural, as if I had not just been blindsided by the person I loved most in the world. Through the sobs, I begged her to stay. I pleaded for our marriage, for our family. It was humiliating, but I was desperate. She only shook her head and told me she could not stay in a marriage that made her feel trapped. She called it a loveless marriage. Maybe for her, it was. I sat there for half an hour, broken, before something inside me hardened. I wiped my face, stood up, and told her to leave. Amy looked stunned. A few minutes earlier, I had been begging her to stay, and now, I was telling her to get out. Honestly, I surprised myself too. But I meant it. She did not argue. She had already packed a duffel bag. She had been planning this. She gave me a weak, awkward hug, one I did not return, then turned and walked out the door. The moment she was gone, grief hit me all over again. I cried until my body ached. It was not just the betrayal. It was the realization that the last 2 years of my life had been a lie. When Ava came home later that evening, she found me asleep on the couch, my face swollen from crying. She knew something was wrong immediately. She kept asking where her mother was, and I tried to hold back, but I could not keep it in. Telling her the truth made it real, and as I said the words, I broke down all over again. My daughter, my youngest, the child I had once held in my arms as she slept, sat next to me and comforted me. She did not hesitate. She called her brother and sister and told them to come home. She called my brother, Eric, and asked him to come over because she knew I would need someone. Eric, my younger brother, has never married. He has lived his life freely, unburdened by family responsibilities. But when he heard what happened, he dropped everything and came to my house that same night. A week has passed, and Eric is still here. So are my children. We are all trying to make sense of this together. But even now, it does not feel real. It feels like a nightmare I cannot wake up from. I never thought Amy leaving would affect me this much. I always considered myself a strong man, a stable man. But since she left, I have struggled even to get out of bed in the morning. My kids are helping me, and for that, I am grateful. They are keeping me grounded. I spoke to my lawyer. Divorce is coming, inevitable as the rising sun. But I had not yet filed. I was waiting for Amy to serve me, yet a week passed, and nothing happened. It did not make sense. Then, last night, I got my answer. Amy called me. I had not heard her voice since the night she walked out. I stared at the phone for a long time before answering. When I did, I could tell immediately that she had been crying. She asked about the kids. I told her they were all here, along with my brother. I kept my voice flat. I did not want her to hear the pain that still lingered inside me. Then, she started crying harder. I should not have cared. I should not have asked. But the words left my mouth before I could stop them. Are you all right? That is when she told me the truth. The man she had left me for, the one she had thrown away 23 years of marriage for, had refused to take her in. She had walked out of our home, expecting to move in with Matt, expecting to start a new life with him. But when she asked, he had turned her away. He told her he was too young for a serious commitment. He told her he wanted to enjoy life before settling down. And while Amy was still beautiful, she was not what he wanted. He wanted a future, children, time. Amy could not give him that. She had thrown away her life for a man who never planned to stay. Now, she was stranded. She told me she had been staying in a hotel for the past week, afraid to call me, afraid to ask if I would let her come back. But now, she had nowhere else to go. So she asked me. She asked me if she could come home. For a moment, I felt nothing but silence in my mind. Then, all the grief, all the humiliation, all the anger I had buried came rushing to the surface. I told her no. I told her she had not given me a second chance when I begged for one, so I would not give her one now. And then, before she could say another word, I hung up the phone. For the first time since she left, I felt peace. That is the end of this part. Send the next one when you are ready. The sheer nerve of her left me speechless. In an instant, every ounce of sadness I had carried since she left turned to fury, something that should have happened long ago. I told her right then and there that there was no chance she was coming back. She had not given me a second chance when I begged her for one, so I was not about to give her one now. Whatever was happening to her now, she brought upon herself. She had made her choice, and she had to live with it. I hung up before she could say another word and shut off my phone. I did not want to waste another second of my night thinking about her. The arrogance of it all made my blood boil. She actually thought she could walk out on me, throw away our marriage, betray me with another man for 2 years, and then, after she was tossed aside like an old newspaper, expect me to take her back. In our 23 years together, we had faced our fair share of struggles, just like any other couple. But no matter what the argument was, it was always me trying to make things right, always me swallowing my pride, apologizing even when I had done nothing wrong, just to keep the peace. She never once chased after me. But I was done. There was no fixing this. No forgetting it. And I sure as hell did not want to. This was the wake-up call I should have had a long time ago. For years, I had loved my wife more than she had ever loved me. More than she had deserved. But that was over now. I had no guilt about kicking her out of the house and refusing to let her return. I bought it. It was my name on the deed. She had no right to demand a place here anymore. Still, she was trying to twist the situation, paint herself as the victim. When I finally turned my phone back on the next morning, I had a flood of messages from her. The first few were pleading, then they quickly turned angry. She was furious, calling me heartless, selfish, accusing me of throwing her out with nowhere to go. Apparently, I was supposed to be thinking about her. This was coming from the woman who had lied to my face for 2 years. The woman who had strung me along while she was building a whole other relationship behind my back. She also blamed me for turning the kids against her, which was ridiculous. I had done no such thing. In fact, I had no idea they had cut her off until she told me. She had managed to ruin her own relationship with them all on her own. I could not understand how she could twist things in her mind to make it seem like I was the villain in all this. Maybe I was angry, but even if I stepped back and looked at the situation logically, there was no reality in which I was in the wrong for refusing to let her move back in. She had made her decision when she walked out that door. She had thrown away our family, our history, for a younger man. Then, when he discarded her, she came crawling back to me, thinking I would be waiting with open arms. I refused to be that fool. I just needed to be sure I was not letting my anger cloud my judgment, that I was not acting out of bitterness. So now, I am asking all of you. Was I wrong for refusing to let my unfaithful wife move back in after she cheated on me with her co-worker? Update 1. To everyone who responded, thank you. I did not expect so many people to take the time to weigh in on my situation, and I appreciate every single one of you. If I had not made that post, I might have caved. I might have let her get inside my head and make me feel guilty for something that was never my fault to begin with. For a moment, she had me questioning my own decisions. But after reading through everything, I see things clearly now. She does not deserve a second chance. It has been a couple of days since my last post, and Amy has been relentless. She has been texting constantly, switching between begging and blaming. She has tried every tactic she can think of, from guilt-tripping to outright gaslighting. She keeps saying she made a mistake, that she regrets it, that she is willing to do anything to make it up to me. But what she still does not understand is that this was not some small lapse in judgment. It was 2 years of lying. 2 years of sneaking around behind my back. 2 years of making a fool out of me. She does not seem to grasp how serious this is. She acts like an apology and a promise to be better should be enough. It is not. It never will be. I am feeling a lot stronger now. Rachel and Jake have gone back to their normal routines, and I encourage them to. There is no need for them to put their lives on hold for me. Ava is still here, checking up on me, which I appreciate, but I have made it clear that she should not feel obligated to stay. She has her own life to live, her own friends to see. We are all going to get through this. It will take time, but we will. Eric is still here too, and I could not be more grateful. He is not the most emotional person, but he has been solid, dependable. Even without saying much, his presence alone has been a lifeline for me. I have been doing a lot of thinking, and I realized that it is not just the emotional betrayal that weighs on me, it is also the day-to-day reminders of her absence. For over 2 decades, we divided up responsibilities in our home. The kids and I always handled the cleaning, the trash, the dishes. Amy did the laundry and most of the cooking because she said she enjoyed it. Now, those small things feel like gaping holes in my routine. Eric and I have been picking up the slack, figuring out the things she left behind. Not just emotionally, but practically. Ava helps when she can, but I refuse to make her stay home just to keep the house running. It is a strange adjustment. But we are managing. Now, about the legal side of things. My lawyer and I have already moved forward with the divorce. I filed the petition yesterday, realizing that Amy had not done it herself because she never planned to. She was waiting, hoping she could manipulate her way back in. That will not happen. She will be served in a couple of days, and then we will begin the process of untangling the life we built together. I cannot even imagine how exhausting it will be. I never thought I would be in this position, preparing to go through a divorce. But here we are. It is a terrible feeling, but at least I know that I did everything in my power to keep our marriage together. This was not my failure. It was hers. I refuse to carry guilt for something I did not cause. If there is one thing I am grateful for, it is that our children are all grown. At least I will not have to fight for custody on top of everything else. I am taking things one step at a time. And with each step forward, I am realizing that I am going to be okay. Amy received the divorce papers today, and judging by the messages she sent, she did not take it well. I have not blocked her yet. I know I should, but for some reason, I just cannot bring myself to do it. Soon, though. I will get there. She flooded my phone with hateful messages, blaming me for ruining her life, claiming I was punishing her just for having a little fun because she was tired of her boring and monotonous existence. According to her, I was acting out of revenge. She even took a shot at my appearance, telling me I was nearly 50 and looked like it. That she just wanted something different. I will give her that I am not the man I was in my 20s. I stopped going to the gym years ago, and my hair is thinning. But that is life. I am not trying to impress anyone. I am a father to 3 nearly grown children. It is natural to look my age. It is not like I let myself completely go. I am not some overweight, unhealthy mess. I take care of myself as best as I can. But if she was expecting me to look the same way I did when we got married, that is her problem, not mine. She thought Matt was more attractive, and maybe he is. But that is the whole point of marriage, is it not? Commitment. Loyalty. Being able to control yourself when you are tempted. She could not do that. She saw someone younger, someone exciting, and she let herself be swept away. That is on her, not me. Now, she is trying to make me feel like I am the reason this all fell apart. But for the first time, I am seeing her for who she truly is. For over 20 years, I ignored things, dismissed red flags, convinced myself that I had a good wife. I was wrong. I should have seen it sooner. Even now, despite everything, I know that a part of me still loves her. It is humiliating to admit. That is probably the only reason I have not blocked her yet. Some ridiculous, lingering attachment that I should have killed off already. But I am getting there. Because I cannot deal with this insanity anymore. She is not just cruel, she is delusional. And I refuse to let her drag me down any further. A twist in the story, one that I honestly could not have written better myself. Rachel called me today and told me that Amy is in the middle of some public drama with Matt. Apparently, she made a post online venting about how he had led her on for 2 years, only to dump her in the end. She is actually playing the victim. She left her entire life behind for this man without even having a real conversation about their future. She never asked him if he wanted the same thing she did, if he was serious, if he actually saw a future with her. And now she is shocked that it all came crashing down. To make it even better, a couple of women from her office commented on the post, exposing Matt for what he really was. Turns out, Amy was not the only one. He had been seeing multiple women at work. She was just one of many. I never put much stock into the idea of karma, but this? This is poetic justice. Rachel and I have both cut her off completely, but she found out about the situation through a cousin of hers. We have not even announced our separation to the whole family yet, but I think that post did most of the work for us. I will tell my side of the family soon, but for now, I am sitting back and enjoying the disaster she created for herself. As for Matt, I hated him at first. I really did. But now, I cannot even be mad anymore. In fact, I almost respect the guy. He managed to juggle multiple affairs in the same office for years without getting caught. That takes a level of recklessness that I cannot even comprehend. Part of me wants to shake his hand. Tell him, well played. At the very least, he gave me the kind of closure I never expected. Amy ruined her own life. And now, I just get to sit back and watch. A little over a month has passed since my first post, and we are now in the middle of negotiating the divorce settlement. And it is strange, but when I look at her now, I feel nothing. No love. No anger. No sadness. Just nothing. She still smiles at me sometimes during these meetings, tries to start a conversation afterward. But I do not engage. I keep my distance. As far as I know, she is living with a friend now. She lost her job, too, though I am not sure of the details. Not that it matters. I doubt I will have to pay her any alimony. Thanks to her brilliant decision to confess everything online, her infidelity is public record. She did all the work for me. My kids still refuse to speak to her, and honestly, we all pretend she does not even exist anymore. I know that is not the healthiest way to deal with it, but right now, it is all too fresh. Maybe in the future, we will talk about it. Maybe they will choose to reconnect with her one day. But not now. For me, I feel like I am in a much better place than I was when this all started. I know I will only continue to improve. I have been considering therapy. Once the divorce is finalized and I have a little more time, I will probably go. I do not want to carry any of this with me into whatever future I build for myself. Because that is what this is. A new beginning. And I am ready for it.